Welcome to Breaking the Cycle of Poverty, featuring Jay Height, Executive Director of Shepherd Community Center in Indianapolis. My name is Tim Swearens, and I'm your host for these conversations that explore why poverty remains such a persistent problem in the United States. On this episode, we'll talk about Shepherd's partnership with Purdue University Northwest and the University of Southern California to develop a virtual reality-assisted treatment program for young people dealing with chronic trauma. Jay, this is a fascinating project. How can virtual reality be used to help people overcome trauma?
Well, some time ago, I met a guy named Skip Russo who runs a lab, a virtual reality lab at USC. He's a leading world expert in this idea of VR to treat, in his case, PTSD. They've done several longitudinal studies, more than 12 and 14 years in the making on those in the military. So the Pentagon funds them to create this. And they take those with high PTSD scores through a VR experience over time, and it is proven to reduce their PTSD. So, I just asked lots of questions, and I said, well, could that be used for kids? And, PTSD for kids is called ACEs score, Adverse Childhood Experiences. And that's where this conversation started a couple of years ago, and lo and behold, Senator Ryan Mishler, Senate Finance Chair, got $1.5 million in the last state budget through the DOE. Purdue matched that and totaled with a grant from the feds for a total of $3 million to get the project rolling. Mm-hmm. And so here in just a few days, that proven platform is being brought to Purdue, and their VR folks, and then we're working with the leading childhood trauma expert, a doctor who practices in Boston and Chicago and Houston. One of his students who studied under him leads the childhood trauma section at Purdue, and so they are going to oversee this project, and then within a year to 16 months, we'll be able to, at Shepherd Community, participate with them with parents' permission to allow kids to begin using this same VR experience and to see if our informed thought is accurate. And that is, if it works here for PTSD for adults, we may have a tool here that could help us address ACEs, Adverse Childhood Experiences, for youth.
And that has huge implications, not just for Shepherd, but really almost worldwide.
Well, and our hope is, and sort of the agreement is, let's open source this. This is something too important. We have a shortage in so many areas of our society. I just read there's a shortage of plumbers, and there's a shortage of therapists and psychologists, particularly for the youth and adolescents. And so we know we can't hire enough. But this is not a solution, it's a tool. It's a solution. Mm-hmm. And so our hope is by 2026, this is being offered to youth-serving organizations, to schools, to YMCAs, to you fill in the blank, that are working with youth. And then there would be an informed program where they would be able to access this and hopefully begin to bring healing to kids.
Let's step back for a second. Jay, help our listeners understand the severity and prevalence of trauma for kids living on the east side of Indianapolis.
ACEs scores have, in some cases, doubled during COVID. And it's not just that COVID did it. It was the isolation, and the whole world was turned upside down. And there are those kids who are dealing with the violence and those types of things, that have seen things happen in their home, seen things happen to their loved ones that create that trauma. And many of our staff just went through a training on trauma-informed care. We know that those with high trauma scores, those who have had many of these things happen, are going to live a high-risk lifestyle. And if it is a common denominator for youth that are incarcerated, for those who drop out, for those who are using drugs. It is the leading indicator. It's the predictor of bad behavior coming. And so if we can get ahead of that, begin to assess these kids, and then begin to get them treatment and care.
So what are the hoped-for outcomes for young people who are participating in this treatment program?
Reduced ACEs scores. Because then, if that's the predictor, if it's lower, then there's going to be less of them who are going to become justice impacted.
So they'll stay out of jail, prison, that pipeline, maybe
Absolutely.
stay in school,
Yes.
begin to maybe get a job and have positive outcomes in life rather than some of the negative ones we see.
Yeah, and something that we've talked here at this table about, Tim, is the future orientation. If I have a high ACEs score, if the trauma has been great in my life, then I don't see myself having a future. And if I don't have a future orientation, then hey, I'm going to do whatever I want today because I'm not promised that I'll be alive or not incarcerated tomorrow.
So we've talked about some of the how, right? You made a connection and said, hey, maybe we can partner on this. But just talk about a Christian ministry focused on poverty on the Near East Side of Indianapolis, and you're partnering now with a school and a college in Southern California. How do those things happen?
Well, as a Ohio State Buckeye fan, it really is hard for me to work with USC. I hated them every Rose Bowl growing up.
And Purdue to boot.
Well, they were never there. They don't play football. No, Purdue's doing a great job, and I appreciate their partnership in this, and the fact that USC was very open-handed in this partnership. And my friend Jeff Smolian, who is a trustee at USC, who was helping in this, Senator Mitchler, who is a USC grad, and this is a win-win. Mario Marino in the book Leap of Reason says the great organizations are those that tackle issues bigger than themselves and partner with others to accomplish it. This is bigger than Shepherd. It's bigger than Purdue. It's us saying, here's the table, here's the challenge, childhood trauma, ACEs scores. Who do we need at the table to bring a solution? And this is one solution. There's lots of things that we need to be doing. This is just one of them.
Yeah. So what are next steps in this project?
Well, we are working out all of the contracts, and the State Department of Ed is working with Purdue. They will be the fiscal agent, and we are realigning a staff member here who will help take a lead on our part to help in the coordination and staying informed in this process. It's going to be 3 years before we're done, but if we do nothing this year, it's 4 years, right?
Yes.
And so let's get it started, and we'll get this figured out. And 25, 26, 27, we're going to see some potentially good tools that will be helping kids be able to thrive and have a future orientation.
Thank you, Jay. This is a fascinating and exciting initiative, and I'm eager to see how it plays out. For 39 years, Shepherd Community has made a lasting difference in the lives of thousands and thousands of neighbors. The Shepherd team couldn't do that work without the support of donors, partners, and volunteers. To learn more about how you can help, please visit shepherdcommunity.org. Thank you for listening.